Finally, the Hasashi bloodline will end.
Mortal Kombat 3 is officially on the way, and here's everything we know so far about the next chapter in the franchise, including a major resurrection that could shake things up. What many fans may not realize is that Warner Bros. Actually greenlit Mortal Kombat 3 back in October 2025. The studio was apparently so confident in Mortal Kombat 2 and the long-term potential of the franchise that it approved a third movie about 7 months before Mortal Kombat 2 even hit theaters. Looking back, that confidence seems to have paid off. Mortal Kombat 2 went on to outperform the first movie at the box office, earning $129 million worldwide compared to the original film's lifetime total of $84 million. With that success, the franchise is now moving full steam ahead, and writer Jeremy Slater has already started teasing some major story developments for the next installment. In a recent interview with Variety, writer Jeremy Slater opened up about the future of fan-favorite character Liu Kang, confirming that his story is far from over despite his apparent death in Mortal Kombat 2. He said, "We always had planned to kill him in this movie, but Liu Lin is so goddamn good. We didn't expect how much even the casual audience would fall in love with Liu Kang. We always knew that we would be bringing Liu Kang back in some regard in the third movie, but we did wind up altering his death a little bit to make it more of a choice. So we're not sure if he actually died or did he ascend to some other plane. What actually happened to hit to him in that moment is absolutely a mystery that's going to be explored in Mortal Kombat 3. The mention of an other plane seems to hint that fans could finally see Liu Kang return in his full Fire God form if the movies continue to follow the lore from the games. Variety specifically asked about that possibility, which only adds more fuel to the speculation. Slater also addressed another major death in Mortal Kombat 2, Lewis Tan's Cole Young. The original character, who served as the audience's point-of-view protagonist in the first film, was killed off early in the sequel. According to Slater, Cole was initially created because the studio wanted a newcomer character to help introduce audiences to the world of Mortal Kombat, but over time, he felt the character didn't naturally fit within the larger universe. That said, Slater made it clear that he's a big fan of Lewis Tan himself, both as an actor and a martial artist, and hinted that he could find a way to bring Tan back into the franchise in a different role, possibly as early as Mortal Kombat 3. Slater also discussed one of the franchise's biggest recurring themes, alternate realities and timeline resets. While those concepts are a huge part of the games, he suggested the films won't rush into that territory. "I think we would certainly want to steer clear of doing any sort of major timeline reboots or resets, especially because what we're learning right now is people like these characters and tone. Doing a board wipe and starting from scratch with new versions may be a bridge too far. Some of that stuff feels like fertile ground to explore, but maybe not right off the bat." Ultimately, Slater says his long-term vision is to turn Mortal Kombat into New Line Cinema's version of The Fast and the Furious, a franchise with a main series of films alongside multiple spin-offs focused on supporting characters. Warner Bros. Has previously grouped Mortal Kombat alongside some of its biggest entertainment properties, including DC, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones. So it'll be interesting to see just how heavily the studio decides to invest in the franchise's future from here. The second film begins with a flashback showing Emperor Shao Kahn killing King Jared and conquering Edenia, taking Queen Sindel and Princess Kitana as his own. 20 years later, as the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament approaches, Quan Chi resurrects Kung Lao and Kano on Shao Kahn's orders, although Kano proves impossible to control. In Earthrealm, Raiden and Sonya recruit Johnny Cage to join Liu Kang, Jax, and Cole Young as Earth's champions. During the tournament, Kitana secretly betrays Shao Kahn and allies herself with Earthrealm, while Quan Chi and Shang Tsung steal Raiden's power and use Shinnok's amulet to make Shao Kahn immortal. The tournament turns deadly. Liu Kang is forced to kill the corrupted Kung Lao, Cole Young is killed by Shao Kahn, and later Jax also sacrifices his life. Realizing they cannot defeat Shao Kahn while he possesses the amulet, Johnny and Kano travel to the Netherrealm to destroy it, while Kitana turns fully against Shao Kahn. In the final battle, Shao Kahn mortally wounds Liu Kang, who disappears in a burst of fire after declaring that he will return to save the fallen. After Johnny and his allies destroy the amulet, Shao Kahn loses his immortality and is ultimately killed by Kitana, who frees Edenia and becomes its queen. The film ends with the heroes capturing Quan Chi and planning to use him to resurrect the champions who died, setting up the story for Mortal Kombat 3. After Mortal Kombat 2, there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to the future of this franchise. If the filmmakers continue paying attention to fan feedback, there's a good chance that Mortal Kombat 3 could end up being an improvement over this movie. At this point, it's probably best to accept that these films are not trying to directly adapt the games scene for scene. Instead, they're taking characters, storylines, and concepts from the games and building their own version of the Mortal Kombat universe. After watching the second film, that approach feels much easier to get behind. Kitana was one of the strongest parts of the movie. Her character, story arc, and overall portrayal worked really well and didn't feel like they needed much adjustment. Sonya Blade, on the other hand, felt underused. She had a few decent moments, including her fight with Sindel, but overall she didn't get much to do. It was also surprising that Sindel's signature hair abilities didn't seem to play a major role in their fight. Martin Ford did an excellent job portraying Shao Kahn. He captured the character's physical presence and personality from the games extremely well and felt like a believable version of the iconic villain. There probably wasn't much reason to bring Kano back, but considering how entertaining he was in the first movie, it's hard to complain. He remains one of the franchise's most entertaining characters. Karl Urban was also a great addition as Johnny Cage. His performance was a lot of fun, and hopefully the character sticks around for at least another movie. While it might have been exciting to see Johnny help defeat Shao Kahn, the film made it clear that he wasn't quite ready for that level of battle yet. Cole Young was much more interesting this time around because the movie finally allowed him to showcase his abilities. He came across as a far more capable fighter than he did in the first film. In fact, if Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung hadn't cheated, it seemed like Cole might have ended the conflict much earlier. That raises an interesting possibility that perhaps Outworld has been cheating its way through the tournaments for years, similar to the games. Despite expectations that Cole would die, his death still ended up carrying more emotional weight than expected. Raiden and Shang Tsung both need significantly larger roles in Mortal Kombat 3. Raiden felt somewhat cold and distant in the first movie, but this film at least showed some growth as he began trusting his champions more. Shang Tsung, meanwhile, still feels underdeveloped, despite being one of the franchise's most important characters. Liu Kang got a lot more focus in this movie, and honestly, it worked because the other Earthrealm champions clearly see him as their best fighter. His fight against Revenant Kung Lao was easily one of the highlights of the entire film, and arguably the best fight sequence overall. It also felt pretty obvious that Liu Kang would have beaten Shao Kahn if Shao and Shang Tsung hadn't resorted to cheating. His apparent death was definitely one of the biggest movie surprises, and based on the ending, it seemed like Mortal Kombat 3 is going to focus heavily on bringing back the fallen champions. We got to see several of Liu Kang's classic abilities, including his fire-based attacks, but unless I missed it, we never got the iconic bicycle kick. Hopefully, that's something they're saving for the next movie. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be covering more updates on this soon. We'll see you next time.